Conversations with Mary Jane. I'm Reena Ezra.
And I'm Brendan O'Brien.
And we are delighted to have a hilarious guest, a very brilliant guest, a very wonderful writer, a very, very funny guy, and a very, very kind soul, Matt Levy.
Thank you, Matt.
How are you?
That was the most hyperbolic intro.
It was too exaggerated. Do you want me to take any of it back? Because I won't.
I think you said kind soul. You could have soul.
What do you mean? You're so sweet and nice. Are you?
Oh, no,
are
I said
you?
I could be kindest soul.
the top 1% of kind souls.
The kindest of
Yes.
souls.
The humblest of kind souls.
The number one soul, yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for virtually connecting with us. We have you via FaceTime because we understand you're on dad duties. I mean, not right now, but we know you're, I mean, I guess that's been the biggest event in your life. Occurrence? What do you, responsibility?
Definitely. My wife is on mom duties right now. It's more of like the biggest event in her life. Mm-hmm. And like it's like a part-time gig for me.
Oh my God. What's
very full-time. Like she does so much work. It'd be silly to say I do even half as much as she does. Like she goes way above and beyond. Like she's breastfeeding 4 hours a day. Well,
I mean, you could try, Matt.
Yeah, at least 2.
I will say the baby does try.
Well, we'll get into plenty of baby talk because Matt, we have a challenge for you where you have to name items on a list, and your challenge is to name as many baby items as you can. This is anything that you would buy or obtain or use in the caretaking of a baby/infant child.
All right.
Yeah, and you can rattle them off anytime in the interview.
Well, number one, a rattle. There you go.
Darn
you just gave me the first one. Thank you.
Is it the most useful tool?
I didn't mean to do that.
Not really. It doesn't do much yet. So the most interesting baby item that I can think of off the top of my head is there's the regular disposable diapers versus the cloth diapers. Mm-hmm. And disposable diapers, there's your Huggies, your Pampers. There's like a designer disposable diaper that is head and shoulders above the rest called Coterie. Like, it's so much easier to put on than the other diapers. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Also, I'll let you guys in on a little proprietary information. Mm-hmm. I've had an idea there are smart diapers that will connect to an app that tell you when your baby's pooped or peed.
You're bullshitting. That's not real.
That's real, yeah. We were part of this like beta testing for Columbia. Like
what?
It's a thing. But I think it's not really that effective because like if you're asleep, you're not going to like hear your notifications if you like silence your phone. I think the baby diaper should beep different sounds for pee and poop.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think that's $1 billion business waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if the baby's crying, you don't usually know why. Like, it's so confusing a lot of times. Like, you can kind of tell, like, that's a hunger cry, that's a poop cry, that's a needs to be burped cry. But if you could eliminate that guessing for just, like, the peeing and pooping.
Wow.
And then the crazy thing is, other than your disposable diapers, there's cloth diapers. Mm-hmm. So that's another item. But the cloth diapers are weird because they're supposed to be cruel to children to inspire them to potty train, like ASAP. Because with the disposable diaper, like it absorbs, so you're not wet in your nether region. Mm-hmm. But with the cloth diaper, it gets really wet and uncomfortable and makes the kid want to get out of diapers as soon as possible.
Wow.
So I hate cloth diapers. I feel awful. Also, the baby's legs can't move in the cloth diapers because they're so rigid. Like, just starts crying right away.
We're getting so much information right off the bat.
Yeah. Anyone who is a prospective parent out there.
I have to store this in my maybe one day.
The cloth diaper. Like, the diaper, remember how you probably saw, like, in cartoons or any information, any media you've seen about babies, like, they have the clothespin?
Yeah.
That's no longer a thing. Now it's, like, a little thing called a snappy. And you have, like, it has, like, little...
Wasn't it originally Velcro? Or before the clothespin?
It doesn't, like, snap on like that. Yeah, it, like, grabs, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like a hook?
Yeah, like, it's sort of like a hook, yeah. On both sides of the diaper, and then at the bottom. And then on top of that, you put, like, a poop protector. And today, the baby just straight up poops.
Oh, dear.
Through all of it.
Poop protector, not so protector.
With my wife, it got on her.
No!
Yeah, it got on what's called the boppy, which is what women put under the baby when they breastfeed. Because another thing I didn't know is latching is not easy. I thought babies were just immediately latched. They don't get it right away. Mm-hmm. So we have a woman come over, feel my wife's breath, help her lactate, and help the baby find the right position. It is so much more complex than I would have expected.
This is when you miss in like the old villages, and you had that, you know, that Jewish grandmother or whatever, the who would come the matchmaker. Everybody's played an important role in the tribe.
They all raise the child.
That person, comes and they grab the tit and they're like, "This is what you do with the nipple," and like, "This is how the baby squeezes and knows how to suck." Now it's just replaced by Siri, and then you gotta go out and TaskRabbit, find someone else.
Siri is the modern Yenta.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. What's the thing that, like, so far in your fatherhood that you've learned the most about, aside from the diaper knowledge that you've acquired?
A lot of diaper knowledge.
All right. So I have a new life philosophy I'm about to drop.
Whoa.
That I sort of had before, but this solidified it. I think that every single decision made by a person, even babies, needs to be 100% that person's idea in order to be on board with it. Mm. So, like, if I said to Brendan, "Hey, let's get Chinese food," rather than just, like, coming up with it with you, like, where should we go? And you and I coming up, you'd sort of be like, "What the hell?" Like, it needs to be, like, an idea that you sort of had ownership of as well.
Mm. Well, he did have Chinese food earlier tonight before dinner.
Half
so it's
an hour
very
ago.
Interesting. You just said that.
So, Matt, I'm on board with this.
But whose idea was it?
It was ours. It was both of ours.
It was your idea, Matt. It was yours. It was your idea. And it worked. Yeah, this whole...
How did the conversation start? Like, did Brendan say, "What do you want to get for dinner?" Or...
No, I did not have any. Brendan just ordered it and came home and had Chinese food. Yeah, I'm assuming it was through your, telepathic ways.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
Oh, he's going for a specific dish. Okay.
Sesame chicken?
No, so so I do like the sesame chicken. So that would often be in my rotation of Chinese food. I think it's something I've never gotten before, which is the Happy Family. Because for those of you who don't know, the Happy Family consists of shrimp, crab meat, chicken, pork, and vegetables.
And a mom and dad that are still together.
And a mother and father. Yes. And a night around the television watching your favorite family sitcom.
And a laugh track.
Yeah. Yes.
Happy family.
Yeah, happy family. But going back to your philosophy, though, I think that that feels like a very kind of improv-y way of looking at ideas too, right? Because it's kind of the same thing where it's like the ideas are of the group of the adding on, right? So, and not of just the one individual lone idea, right? Yeah.
Right. Yes. So even the baby understands this, though. That's what I've learned about fatherhood. If we want to feed her, she's not into it. She has to want to be fed in order for it to happen. We can't force anything on her. We have to even trick her into believing something's her idea.
Well, that will take you only so far when she gets older, but that is good to learn and know now when you're parenting.
Yeah.
As she grows.
100%.
Yeah.
I also will say that I never really thought about what it's like to be a baby before this. And it's like, so I actually had this thought independently, but I've been reading this insanely good book, also sitting right next to me, called The First Bad Man by Miranda July.
Okay.
Oh.
And she wrote the exact same sentence I had been thinking of, but a baby's life is like a horror film, which is in that, like, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
There's giants standing over them who's speaking a foreign language, putting body parts in them. We sometimes stick a little, like, rectal thermometer up the baby's butt.
This is childhood trauma.
We put a thing called a windy up the baby's butt if it can't poop, and it extracts poop. It's wild. Like, the baby has no idea what's going on, and also, so Miranda July expounded upon that. The baby doesn't even have the vocabulary to explain horror or film. Has never seen anything. Has no concept of anything other than the womb. It's insane to me, and it's also sort of like prison too. Like, the baby has zero free will, other than when things are her choice, quote unquote. But we're like the guards of everything. She can't do anything she really wants, or even has a comprehensive understanding of wants, other than looking at a mobile and enjoys the feeling of soft. That's it.
Now, I just want to see like a version of Shawshank Redemption, but with a baby. It's like Morgan Freeman's voiceover. It's just saying, and there I was, sitting in the crib.
But I guess at this stage, she's also the biggest harm to herself. You have to be there to protect her, and because of all the stuff she does not know.
Yes. Oh, for sure. So, like, she is on a changing table that we bought, and she could literally, she has no concept of death or danger. She could literally roll right over all the time.
Yeah, that's why those have buckles, like seatbelts. Some people strap their babies in.
Yes, it's weird to strap your baby to, but you have to do it.
I'm looking forward to seeing what father-baby content of sketches come out of your new life experiences, or whatever you're pondering these days.
Yeah.
Well, I have a few. The one I filmed, but my wife doesn't really want the baby to be on anything, which I get it. It's about consent or the baby's permission, but was me explaining very esoteric things like two-factor authentication, like in great detail.
Adorable. I just want to back up for a bit and go to, I just had a question. When you were talking about the device that will send you notifications for if the baby like pees, poops, that does all these things, do you think that is, as baby tech develops, that's harmful to like the parents now missing behavioral cues or studying the baby's body language because now a device is going to be doing everything?
Well, that's a great point. I actually did not think that. Rather than just being attentive, you're relying on tech to solve your problem. That's a great point. I think that's definitely possible. But the baby does not like it, the smart diaper. Because
she knows.
I don't know if she knows.
She knows.
What is this, an eye diaper?
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy into your Apple regime.
Right, yeah. It's more like, it's not that she knows, it's more like there's this half oval thing on the front of it, kind of heavy, that like she has to carry, essentially. And I don't think she enjoyed it that on every time. And once we got through the diaper, it felt like a relief, because it was another one where it was like, are we being cruel right now? It certainly felt that way. But the smart diaper also tracks like when the baby needs to nap, which another behavioral cue you miss out on. And it's constantly monitoring the baby's, like, it needs to be fed. Just it's tracking the heart rate, body temp. Like it's pretty cool. Like you do worry everything, like the baby doing thing that's like really unhealthy. It was kind of nice to have that, like,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's a relief, a huge relief to first-time parents. Yeah, I can't, like, that's the thing that I'm just like, yeah, communication. I'm just like, how do you know what it wants? How do you know? Like, I have a cat for the first time. I mean, I've had it for 3 months now, but it's like, yeah, no, this is way easier than a baby. Like, I can tell, like, she'll meow. She tells me, like, a cat's also smart, but you're living with a different creature. Like, it's just the language and you're also, like, yeah, you're calling the shots. Like, you're deciding this baby's.
True.
I was gonna say future, but no, it's a little dramatic.
I don't know. I feel like owning a pet pretty similar
to owning a baby.
Yeah.
They both get collars. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
It's I think it's just as hard. Like, I don't want to pet owners because you can't really ever truly communicate with your cat. In a, like, or maybe for me, cat and dog owners, but like at the very least, baby will in a year pretty much be able to express their needs.
Yeah, right.
No, rather than like a cat meowing. What the hell did you? I don't know.
Yeah, a baby will express. Yeah, I mean, they both express their needs and wants. I think very. I mean, that when I got a cat, like a main thing was like a friend was just like, yeah, just pay attention. Pay attention. They'll tell you what you want or what they need or whatever. And you're like, as long as you do not neglect the cat, the baby, the dog, the parrot, whatever. Like, you gotta just care for it. It's just love, care. And, you know, it helps if you have money.
Yeah.
To get it.
Everything.
The things it needs. So let's just pivot. Because I just want to jump into, I know I moved my arm. People can't see this on the audio podcast. So we know, to fill people in wherever you're listening, we know Matt through our writer's room. Brendan holds a writer's room. We write sketches. We do all these fun things. You were recommended to us by... Stan.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I was making sure. I didn't want to say that wrong, but yeah, Stan's also, I love Stan. He's funny. So we've already been lucky to like hear, because I also want to know what else you're doing in your life creatively. So we've been fortunate enough to like hear your sketches, hopefully one day produce some with you and film them and everything. I know you have with your wife, you guys put videos online. Like the last one I'm just thinking of is because it was also in an SNL sketch, but you guys did a different version of the AMC opener with Nicole Kidman. And then used it as a monologue, which I was like, oh, that's so clever. That's such a good idea. So, what is... No, wait. I was gonna... Oh, my God. My brain's all over the place. I want to know...
Where? Why? How?
I want to know what's new with you or what you're writing or want to do creatively, what's in the future, in store, whatever. But before we go there, take me to the beginning.
Baby Matt.
Talking about only Baby Matt, not Solidarity. Yes, young Matt, where was his fascination with comedy? Where did that come from? How did that start?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm on WTF. This is great.
Yeah, you are, okay? We're really pissed off because we're 59 years old, all right?
Yeah,
Jews.
Angry Jews with a cat.
Well, I guess you guys added together is probably like 59 years old.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan carries the weight of that. I'm so young. Continue, sorry.
Yes, I feel like I've said this before. I don't know if it's 100% true. I think in like 95 or 96, my dad was watching SNL and I watched with him. I remember Dana Carvey and Farrell like on a doc, but I've never been able to track down the sketch. I think they're fiction, and I'm pretty sure it's like young George Bush and old George Bush. But I don't know if that tracks because like I don't think Farrell was playing Bush at the time. Like it doesn't all make sense, but from that point on, I was just like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this. So from there, I just became obsessed with SNL mostly and The Simpsons as a kid. Like super obsessed. Yeah. So much so that I would like troll my teacher, like singing sketches in class. Her name's Georgia Hire. Do you guys remember the sketch? It's one of my all-time favorites. They hire a wedding band, and they only know part of a song, and they just play it over. Oh,
yes, yeah.
I just died in your...
Oh, my God. Yeah. Wow, I have not thought of that sketch in a while.
And they don't know any of the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Me and I think my friend Casey, in 5th grade, we used to do that in class over and over and over.
Wait, who is in that? Who is in that sketch?
I think it's Horatio Sands, who has done some awful things.
Like as a person or project wise?
As a person.
Oh, really?
If you want a deep dive that'll kind of upset you into your comedy past, give Horatio Sands Google and then hit news, and you'll be upset.
Oh.
But I love that sketch. And we'd sing it in class, and I trolled the teacher so much, like with what was the other thing I said? She said she hated Silence of the Lambs, so I would always say, "Can we read Silence of the Lambs?" And not funny, but I probably did that 100 times, and I got so many laughs that I was like, "Oh my God, I'm good at this." So that was 5th grade, and then by 7th grade, everyone was tired of my shtick. This kid in my school named Jordan Ong, that I remember in 5th grade when you were funny. I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't believe I'm a has-been at 13.
That's funny.
It's very sad.
Oh, sorry, we lost the power. Sorry, we're still here, Matt.
We're just in the dark, if you know. Yeah, but that's why we decided to do FaceTime and not Zoom, because I had a feeling we'd lose power. So I've been on data. Sorry, it's crazy because our block is usually the one that loses power, but it hasn't rained that hard today.
Yeah, so, it hasn't been bad.
Yeah, but this is live. This is real. It's really happened. It's for all you people who have ever lost power out there. We're here with you.
Okay.
The phone still works though.
Yes.
So 5th grader who's amusing, so many people already being so funny. Did you just carry that throughout middle school, high school, college? Were you a clown everywhere?
I lost it in 7th grade.
Oh my God.
My kid in my class, Jordan Ong, said I used to be funny, and I was like a has-been. So got to high school, and then I crushed throughout high school. I actually started doing stand-up freshman year of high school.
Oh.
With my dad.
Wait, together?
Not together. We would go to
I was going to say, was this like ventriloquist acts? Like, what do you mean together? But okay, separately, you each did...
Ventriloquist.
Yes.
You each did separate sets.
I'd go up, he'd go up. But we took a class, and we took it with this guy named Tony Visich, who's kind of like well-known in Arizona. In fact, he actually is the guy who like taught Michael Longfellow, who's on SNL now.
Okay.
Oh.
He roasted my grandpa at like the showcase show. He called him horseface.
Oh.
God.
I don't know what
Really
your grandpa
mean.
looks like, but
I feel really bad. I somehow end up bringing that up every podcast, keeping that story alive.
Continued thread. Wait. Did you or your dad give each other pointers? Or, like, even when you sucked, you were like, oh, it's all right, sport.
Your
Get
dad?
him next time.
Yeah. My dad is bald, and I came up with his opener, which is, I know what you people are thinking. Cut your hair, you damn hippie.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's great.
My stand-up was bad. I did this thing called strip comedy, which was if the audience didn't like a joke, I would take off a piece of clothing. to make them laugh. And I said, if you guys don't laugh, you could all be sex offenders.
Oh my God.
Wait, how far did you get?
I think I got my boxers a lot.
Wow. Wow. Did you just need an excuse to be on stage with just your boxers?
Right, yeah. It was all just a...
And that's how you met your wife. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
And then after that, in school, I was at a new school. I went to school that not a lot of people from my middle school went to. And once again, I peaked freshman year. I was very funny. Then junior year, I think I was hosting the pep rally for my school. And I wore my pants off, not for strip comedy, for a bit. And the entire school saw I exposed myself to the entire school.
Oh my God.
No, you didn't.
Well, I guess it was half the school, so it was 800 kids.
Wait, it was outside or inside?
It was an indoor auditorium pep rally.
So what was the temperature?
It was room temp.
Oh, okay, all right.
Quite a bit.
At least it was room temp.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow, that's wild. I can't believe
Yeah.
it. Oh my God.
But
where do you go
pep
from
rally, I solidified my cult status as the funny guy at school with a very dumb joke. I said, I don't know why I said this. I said when Jesus comes back, I hope he brings Tupac with him. Not really that funny, but man, the entire school erupted. It was like someone was speaking a different language. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
After that, I was the big man on campus.
What do you think is because it was just a relevant topic?
I don't know.
It's just the...
I was I could never top it. That, people knew me for that.
Wow. It's a nice
all 4 years. It was wild. Then in college, I sort of stopped doing stand-up, and I ran a sketch show all 4 years of college.
Nice.
That was pretty fun. And after that, I got back into stand-up. So I do have one pretty legit connection. My cousin was John Mulaney.
Wow.
John Mulaney's manager?
And Nick Kroll and Ellie Kemper and his and she's if you really want to make it, you got to start doing stand-up more instead of sketch, so you can actually see how audiences respond to your material, figure out what's funny. So I did that, and I did stand-up in New York for pretty much up until the pandemic, from 2013 until March 2020. And I was working at Caroline's as the assistant to the manager. It was all up and up, and then pandemic happened. I started focusing back on sketch again, and I wrote a play. I wrote a movie. I've written quite 5 screenplays, and I guess that brings me to the future. Writing another screenplay.
Wow,
fantastic! Right now. I've got 1,000 ideas. It's annoying. There's always stuff to do. I'm editing a short, making mashups. Yeah. It's just,
So I have to ask, what do you enjoy, one or the other, or I mean, I know the process is different between stand-up and sketch. What are the components of each that you're oh, this is my, favorite, or I love it when it's in this groove, or...
Yeah. Do you guys do stand-up too, or no?
I did for about a year. Yeah. No, but fuck that. No, I was. I enjoyed it for sure. People did not believe when I first went up that it was my first time. It was I sound
I was just great, so then I stopped because I was already great.
No, I'll tell you why I stopped. It was everything I did was story format, and it was all about my upbringing with an Iranian family. So it was all stories about my dad, or just weird shit. He made us bury our teeth in the backyard, but we lived in a condo, and it's not our yard, and we did he didn't.
Normal stories.
The way he would act if he was in a nursing home, what would happen, and pretending to be in a phone call, whatever. So it was just toying with that. There's definitely some shows I brought up an urn because I had bits with people were, you know, wondering. I didn't tell them if there was like ashes in there or not, but it was like different. It was experimentation, but it was heavily everywhere. I was one of the only girls, so it was like heavily male dominated, heavily. So I like doing like just, you know, doing it for such a short period of time. I just knew that, oh, I get it. It's a click, just like anything else. People are going to pass you along if they like you and if you're blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter like what material you have or what you have to. And I just didn't like the people. It was just so depressing. It was just so stand-ups were very like, ugh, like in their feelings and like sad or pathetic. Like I get it, their workshop. And like I met and still talk to people now who are stand-up comedians and are very talented and are great and love watching them figure things out, and it's very entertaining. But there's something with like improv where collaborating with other people I enjoyed more than being on my own for stand-up and sketch. So it was a different beast. Yeah, no,
I'm with that. Brendan, what about you?
Yes, I did stand up for a little bit. I like it fine. But I think I definitely like, I like the group stuff too a little bit more, and I don't know, I feel like the idea of like writing like like, I feel in a weird way, and I mean this is like why some stand-ups like doing it, I feel like narcissistic writing jokes for myself. I feel like I enjoy like the idea of like, I'm gonna write this and someone else will get to say, or someone else will be able to say instead of me. So like, do you prefer to write for yourself, or do you prefer to write for other voices?
I think other voices as well.
Yeah.
After a while, I felt gross being the center of attention. Like, I was just like, I don't want to like ask people to come see me over and over. And I reached a point where I was producing a bunch of shows. And I was, oh God, I keep asking the same people to come see like the same comedians. Yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah.
But for terms of pure stand-up, I do love in the moment and freewheeling it can be, as opposed to I think even improv has a lot of restraints because you have to stay on game and you have to be present with the other performers. With stand-up, you can make any rule, anytime, anything's fair game, whereas with improv, people say it's like as free as can be, but improv is sort of like shackling you a bit too. You're like, all right, establish this, and now we have to continue finding beats within this premise and not go to quote unquote crazy town and ruin the flow that we've established. So as fun as improv is, it's also very stressful.
Yeah.
Whereas with stand-up, even if you're bombing, you can abandon your act and start riffing and having fun.
True, very true.
You can just have as much fun as you want. So like, if you don't want to have fun up there, you won't. If you want to be up there and recite your tweets, like, you're not going to have much fun. Because it's really, people respond to comedians that have fun. Case in point, Kevin Hart, not funny. But having so much fun.
You heard it here, folks.
Like, he's having more fun than anyone else. It's a joy to watch, even if he's the worst writer of all time.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. That's kind of the connectivity between improv and stand-up is the audience. It's the energy in the room. So they're feeding off of you. You're feeding off of them, and you still have to improv if you're with the troupe or whatever. You're feeding off of each other, but it's I would agree with that. I'm glad you just brought that up because I definitely feel that way watching stand-up sometimes where I'm like, if they're having a good time and enjoying themselves, you're just like, oh yeah, like I'm down with this, I'm doing whatever. But if it's just the air is stagnant, if there's just something, whatever that icky feeling is, and you're like, oh, this dude's got to get off the stage. Like, this is not, he looks like he's being tortured. And people are, but that's the thing. That's why I applaud stand-ups, because you guys get to a point where you are more than comfortable to bomb. You have to get to certain, because your face, I'm trying to read it. You have to get to certain points so you can test your limit. You have to test what joke works, what doesn't work, what blah, blah, blah. You're coming up with shit on the spot too. But you guys are like fine with, I mean, I've just seen certain stand-ups where I'm just like, oh yeah, but it just gets annoying when they don't like drop it and move on. They'll keep drilling it, and they're like, yeah, nah, dude, it's dead in the room. You're not getting a lot. Like, that's like, it's like, fine, accept that you just like, this one didn't work, drop it, move on, go to the next thing. And then, but they don't. They're so tethered to it. I guess that's the thing you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's very true. A comic has so much pride usually that they have to win, even if the material isn't working. It's the wrong mindset. For sure. Like you should let the audience sort of kind of dictate the direction you head in. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys did this, but I never really ever wrote a set list before I got to a room. It was more like once I was there, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this old material, bring this new bit in, just based on the vibe of the room rather than have like a set in mind, because you never really know. And then there's also the thing where if you go up like 8th or 9th on a show or, 70th at a really huge mic, you're constantly revising your set. If someone has a similar premise or even has a similar structure, you're like, oh, I can't do this rule of threes bit because someone did something that was so close. Sounds like I'm stealing from them.
Well, see, that's what, I never ran into that trouble because no one else had Iranian girl Persian jokes. Nobody else was talking about this. I would always ask if there was some other Iranian in the crowd, and there never was, except probably one. I think there was one at like cafe show or whatever, the one that Jordan was producing. But yeah, that's.
You need to get out of Jersey, friend.
There are definitely a ton in Jersey. I'm saying like it would be totally different, if I did this stuff in LA.
Yeah, Matt. So you live in New York.
Iran.
Wait, what?
Or
Iran.
Oh yeah, let me just work on that. Let me get over to that country. Let me get my hijab first. Fucking stupid piece of shit regime. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Regime.
Where's the Shah? Where's the Shah right now?
Shah, we know you're listening to Sessions with Mary Jane, so first off, thank you for subscribing, but fuck you!
Yeah, Kubi, Chitori, what's going on?
Yeah.
Fucking Bosch.
Matt, how long have you lived in New York for?
I moved here in August 2013.
Okay, and then where were you before that?
Wait, say that again?
August 2013. Here in
2013.
August 2013, and before Phoenix my whole life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, how was growing up in Phoenix?
It was a hot one.
That should be on the billboard outside of Welcome to Phoenix.
It's a hot one, baby.
I don't know. I loved it. I still do. I didn't really know. It didn't feel as conservative as it does post-Trump, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now that I know everyone that I grew up with was conservative, it like checks out. But back then, it was just like we were all just middle school, and their parents were nice, and I didn't notice there was like this underbelly of conservatism that just existed there the whole time.
Well, is it because you were a child, right? You're not paying attention to that stuff as a kid?
Yeah. Like they were just, to me, everyone just like slightly. I grew up in like a middle class that was not upper middle, but like in between middle and upper middle. So it was like. I don't even know what to call that. Like,
lower upper middle.
Yeah.
Classic.
Like we weren't super rich, but we never went hungry. But I do think that most of my neighborhood probably voting for Bush or Ron or Bob Dole.
Do you have family there? still? Like, do you have a reason to go back?
Yeah. My dad is a stockbroker, and my mom worked for Native Health Profit, and my brother's a realtor up there, and my other brother moved to Austin. He lived in New York for a while, and he writes a very popular crypto newsletter.
Ooh, cool. What's it called?
Milk Road.
Milk Road, cool.
Yeah.
Why Milk Road?
I think it's a play on the Silk Road, but there's a phrase which it might have to do with the phrase "buy the dip."
I'll have to look up and understand the reference.
Which is what dips you buy it. But he is, because there's a lot of cross between crypto and comedy. He is good friends with Hassan Minaj. And there's another guy he's very good friends with. I forget the guy's name, but he's a rapper on Rami.
Yeah. When you said that there's a lot of crossover between crypto and comedy, do you just mean that there's a lot of like crypto-based comedy, or like they're similar in certain ways?
There is that, yeah. There's a lot of crypto-based comedy for sure, which feels like a little bit, and that the message is the medium, essentially. But TJ Miller, brother, texts all the time. And TJ Miller, if you want to Google it and look up news, you'll find
we know TJ Miller we know about, Yeah,
but he and my brother text all the time. Wild.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. TJ Miller and your brother text all the time?
All the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so TJ Miller and Hassan Minaj and this guy who I was supposed to meet that writes for Rami, but they're all just like crypto nuts. They love it. And my brother's like, sort of a leading authority on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What would you say is the best comedy happening right now? Like in terms of like TV or movie, like something you've seen maybe, just like what's like doing it right?
I mean, I consume so much comedy that it's insane. Two things that I really, really like that I saw recently are this independent movie. The director had done Florida Project that was Matt on, but he directed a movie that came out last year that was like criminally up-15 and is maybe top 5 funniest features I've ever seen. It feels like a 70s slice of life, kind of like 5 Easy Pieces, The Last Detail, Network, but it's called Red Rock. It's about
yes.
Have you heard about it?
Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, you're talking to film people. Yes, of course.
It's so good.
I enjoyed Red Rocket. I did. I was not about it in the beginning where I was just like, all right, what is this happening? Like, this is just a porn or whatever. And then I'm just like, I watched the whole thing. And I was like, it got my attention. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm about it.
I was crying laughing. Like, I hated the main character. He does horrible things.
Yes.
It's sort of like Eastbound and Down or The Focused Way, the Danny Bride archetype. But he's so awful and self-centered and sabotages these very kind people that he moves in with. But every step of the way, I was like, this is hysterical. It's brilliant. I was like crying laughing.
The lead actor, if you want, his name's escaping me. You want to go?
I know he's in Scary Movie.
For Red Rocket. Yes, I was just about to say when I saw him in Scary Movie 4 was probably the first thing I saw him in, and I was when I found out it was him, I was like, oh my god, okay, how is he going to portray this character? Because he was just funny. He was just such a funny. Or he was also in Scary Movie 3 or something, or quite a few of them. Yeah. But he was just so entertaining, and it just made me like think about that. I was like, Scary Movie, good times. But yeah, he was
Simon Rex is his name.
yes, thank you. Yeah. That's a good pick.
Yeah, which like considering you consume so much comedy, like how percentage-wise, how much of it would you say that you laugh out loud at when you watch it?
Well, it was weird. I was laughing so hard at Red Rocket. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I'm sure you guys are where you're just, that was clever.
Yeah.
Wait, are you usually a laugh out loud person though, or are you somebody who does like it really has to get you, or you're somebody who will easily laugh at things, or you keep your laughter inside? Because there's some people who find shit funny and it's the funniest thing to them, but they keep it inside. They do not really show emotion.
I mean, a lot of the Facebook my daughter does make me laugh out.
Yeah.
So primal. She has no filter, like nothing. Everything she does, so real. Laugh, really.
Aww.
Like she'll jump, crying to pure joy at the flip of a sketch. Like she'll put the saddest face I've ever seen to just having actually. It's also like incredibly fun. But for the most part, yeah, I'm sure you guys feel well. Like you watch scripted television or stand up, having written so much as you guys have. You're like, oh yeah, I had that idea before. Or I've run that place, or I see the beats that you're trying.
Yeah.
There are comedians that always work for me. My wife and I were watching in SNL today, 97, and I was laughing hysterically at the monologue. It's like, he's so incredible. Martin
Short?
He's so...
Who said?
Like, perfect narcissist.
Yeah, it's true, perfect.
And really, kind of take it, but...
Oh, you're breaking up a little.
But the other thing that really, really recently that I feel like fell on the radar did not really make me laugh, but really kind of blew my mind. Did you guys catch the beat They Know That?
We didn't watch it yet.
No.
You're talking about his film?
Not.
Oh, the premise, right?
The premise.
Yeah, I watched. I watched a couple episodes of that. It's just like it's kind of like it's an anthology show. Yeah, and like I think the general idea is each one like starts off with like some kind of like very like high concept premise, and then like it just follows like the fallout from that or essentially what happens.
The show?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
I thought he just had a movie. I didn't know he had a show.
It's fun through it.
Wait, you're breaking up. Sorry.
Oh.
I don't know if our connection's bad or your connection's bad.
Oh, is it?
I don't know whose it is. All I know is it's staticky. But anyway, it's got. Wait, I have to write that down. So I can watch that.
The show, yeah, it's good. No, it's good.
It's how long?
They're half an hour or 20-minute maybe.
No, how long is is it just like a limited series? Is one done, or he's like, is it 5 episodes?
You never know how limited a limited series is until it keeps going.
Not so limited series.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I think going back to your point though about like the like not laughing out loud, I do. I definitely like feel like similarly to you, just because like it's one of the things where like once you like know how like structure of anything works, it's like. Not that you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it the same way yet. Like you definitely don't enjoy it, and like because you're not as like you know what it is. It's like when you don't know the structure of something like a show or a movie or whatever you're watching, it's easier to be surprised by, and that's like a big factor with comedy. Is like it doesn't have to like be like shock value or like shocking necessarily. It can be, but like in some way, like comedy does have to surprise you, and that's like the ones that kind of can still go and still write original stuff is because they either like really like. Can lead you down a path that really just like makes you feel like you don't know where you're going, and then like they come out at the end and they do say something kind of funny or surprising.
Well, that's why SNL doesn't make me laugh anymore.
Yeah. What do you think?
Because I was like, certain sketches have already been done so many times, and then they just like.
Matt, what do you think about the current state of SNL right now?
Oh, we're gonna have this conversation.
Well, I mean, we could talk about this for hours, to be honest, but
we can, and people will listen as they're seeing. This is an 8-hour podcast.
I think they are spiraling in a way, but I love reinvention. I think it's really cool that they have out, but by hiring just stand-ups, they're really limiting themselves. Like, I was thinking today, next week, Brendan Gleeson is going to act alongside Andrew Dismute, E. Johnson. Like, they're not actors. Yeah. They're not even really that funny. They're fine, but, like, I think there's two really right now that aren't one. Even Bowen Yang, I think, is a bit as funny as he can be.
I would agree with that. I would agree. I was just saying that. Yeah. I would agree with that.
I think just Heidi Gardner and Austin Johnson have it, but everyone else, when Cecily Strong comes back, for sure, huge. But
wait, what? She's still.
Oh yeah, wait. Where's Cecily Strong?
She's doing a one-woman show in LA.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand. She's still part of SNL? She's not. She didn't ever leave or any. What is so confusing? What? I guess the paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Michael Che and Colin are great too. I think we can.
I love Michael Che. I love Michael Che.
But I don't know. Oh, I like Sarah. Well, Sarah Squirt.
Sarah Sherman.
Oh yeah.
Who's Sarah Sherman?
She's the one that she was on. She came onto the Weekend Update a couple times last season. I think she's
like the short black hair.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know who they are. I don't know their names, their faces. I have to learn.
I really thought they were setting her up to be on the Weekend Update desk, and maybe that is the long term plan. But I thought that the stuff that she was doing was some of the best stuff they had done on Weekend Update in a little while.
Do you guys remember the football sketch?
Which one?
Football sketch?
No, Meatball.
Oh, Meatball sketch?
Yeah, it's wild.
Last year.
Meatball is bonkers.
I'm assuming we watched almost the entire season last year, so I don't remember the Meatball sketch. No, I'm gonna have to look it up.
I believe she had meatball growth or meat to talk. It's very strange, but it's wow, I can't believe this show is doing something so weird. In the first half of the show.
Right. Well, yeah, is that where they have to pull from now? But they're all right, we got to do something shocky or weird or absurd or it.
I don't know. I think someone put it really well on Twitter today. SNL's final thought is just brand advertising.
Oh yeah.
But now it's this past episode AMC ad.
Yes.
McDonald's. Yeah. Charmin. The Be Real app.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's all kind of core bits. Sure. I mean, I really think any sketch was that good. But usually the one winner. I guess the cold bit with the parodying of the show was fun, but felt too inside. I felt like it was rewarding viewers like us.
Yeah. But
I just felt wrong.
I would just counter, is it because we're in a world of branding? Everything is about branding more than it's ever been because of, social media and such. But even any company is I don't know. I just feel like that is more prevalent than ever. It's been more. I don't know. Maybe it's because I work in PR, but I feel like so much is branding, so much is your market, so much even a person. Now we've had people equated to a brand. It's a stand-up comedian. It's what's your brand? What's your thing? What do you mean? What's my brand? Nobody asked Eddie Murphy what's his brand.
I should mention the point that promo code Matt off stage.
That's right. Hit that promo code,
guys. Hit that promo code. That's funny. We're talking to a brand. He's not a real dad. Yeah, he's just a brand.
Guys, if you hold your phone to the whatever device you're listening to right now and you scan the QR code in the air, it'll take you to the bonus content.
Baby. Yeah, also his daughter's brand site.
Yeah. Well, listen, one day babies will just come out of the womb with QR codes on them. All right.
Ooh. You just speak something into existence. That's dangerous. That's how people can internally track their child. That's how you'll be able to track if you have any sickness or disease happening inside your body.
Yeah.
Just scan your QR code.
Well, honestly, you were saying the thing before about the smart diapers and like how like all the things that like other than the poop and the pee.
Smart diaper.
Yeah, no, because I'm like, wait, shouldn't all adults probably wear smart diapers? Not for the pooping and pooping.
You can't even say it. I would say old people in a nursing home though, who can't take care of themselves anymore. That would also be helpful.
Also, like the data, like if there was a thing that you could, I guess that's just like a smartwatch, right?
Shit.
Yeah, like if there's
like what they did with Putin's when those guys would come in and put it in a suitcase.
Wait, what?
Apparently, Putin, where he poops, so people don't. He doesn't like leave it in the toilet. He has guys that come get it and they put it in his suitcase so that they can like analyze the data.
Wow, they put poop.
Weird to say out loud.
They put Putin's poop in
yeah.
in the device. Wow.
That's what they say. It's what the internet says.
Wow.
Right.
I get my news from the internet. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, sorry. Just had to go off on that tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but SNL sucks. So that's the conclusion.
Wait, but Matt.
Well, I do think that like every show is kind of great because it has a clean slate.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I never
gotta give
give
it a
up
chance. Gotta have faith. Gotta have hope.
Yeah. Is there one cast that you can say is like your favorite cast or like the definitively the funniest cast?
Oh my god, easy answer.
Yeah, I would say like 95 to 99. That's just what I said. But, I mean, like, 86 to 90 is probably funnier.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can't beat Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon, Sherry O'Terry, Meadows, Anna Gasteyer, Chris Kattan, Daryl Hammond, Mark McKinney for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good. And then you get, like, Fallon and for that run, who I thought were, like, great at the time. I still think Tina Fey is like so funny as ever. But yeah, 95 for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also when I just think about them, I also think about how versatile they are. Like how just diverse with their characters, and also how they have writer's brain. Like they were in the writer's room. They had they were coming up with things that were multifaceted or intricate, it was a different, you didn't know what to expect. And I would be like, I mean, I've said this to Brendan before, but the Jeopardy, when they had Jeopardy and he played Alex Trebek, doesn't matter, any clip, and Sean Connery, it's just yes, those were also celebrity impressions and everything, but they repeated the game show concept obviously so many times, and they had that before Jeopardy, but just something about oh my god, crack me up. They had people that were just genuinely funny. They weren't boxed in or put in a corner for, you can only play this one part. They really showed their reach, and it proves because after SNL they did so many amazing things in their career. You had so many of them in great films. I don't really know if you get that with SNL people anymore.
Well, I think Pete Davidson sort of ruined the show because he was so successful. People watched because of him, but now they exclusively hire quote unquote original voices over chameleons, and as a result, you find people like Eddie Gardner who are so funny and infuse real depth into character, and they're more all right, we need more. I'm trying to think of an example of Michael Longfellow already. You're this guy is gonna go on Weekend Update and do stand-up rather than actually act and make each scene feel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just a different type of funny.
Yeah. I mean, also, last thing I'll say is they hire people that look the same as Melissa. That girl who is recently the new cast that looks like Melissa McCarthy or A.D. Bryant, you were saying, or, I mean, she's the most recent example. And then they had that everyone was talking, which I had no idea people were saying this on Twitter, because I don't have Twitter. but when I watched, because I watched it on Sunday, the SNL episode, I don't stay up that late, but I just watched it and I really did sincerely think that was Pete Davidson doing blackface. And then I found out it was or he, like Jordan was saying, like, no, it's a different person. And I was like, for a split second, I was like, because they can't. There's no way SNL would do that. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're literally just hiring people that look like that.
They do, for sure.
They have a type.
Lorne Michaels has a type.
Yeah.
Irish
it's
Catholic.
Cyclical. They want to just keep everyone feeling familiar and comfortable, even if they're new.
Yeah, well, do you think Lorne Michaels should just hand it off to you, Matt? You want to just start doing it? You got the young perspective. Is it because Lorne Michaels is old and set in his ways? People like comfort. Is that line?
Man, I honestly think the greatest comedic behind the genius ever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with him.
Wow.
I would love to do that, but there's no way that I would be able to replicate or put on something at his level. Even when the show's bad, I still think there is some value to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a we're talking about it in season 48.
Yeah, I know. And
it's
so
insane.
long, yeah.
It's still the hottest show on TV, 48 years deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Gotta keep it fire for the next generations. Gotta keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, the play that I wrote was actually about season 6 of SNL. I'm so upset. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the year that he left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They brought in Jean Domanian to run the show, and they fired her after 15 episodes. But my play is about her exit interview.
That's interesting.
No one can do what he did. Like, Dick Ebersol took over for like 4 years, and he was doing a pale imitation. Like, I don't think anyone could quite pull it off. Like, he has the Midas touch.
Mm.
I love everything that he does. However, sometimes he does baffle me. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't get Keenan. I do not get Mikey Day.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why he keeps bringing them back.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's his thing.
Yeah, you're just along for the ride.
I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not just a guy. You're Matt Levy on our podcast. We'll end the SNL convo there. I'll hand off to you, Brendan, if there's anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, I just want to get. So I was kind of curious. So, like clearly you are very well practiced in writing and like seem to enjoy it. So, like, what are the parts of writing that you like the most, and what are the parts that you despise the most?
Oh man, you guys always have the two-parters.
That's right. We like options and
all right,
polarity.
Third part, you're neutral about. Like, I like when it's done. I'm neutral in the middle, and I hate all writing.
I love when the idea flows. Like, it's a flow state. Like, you write it in one fell swoop, and then it's done, and you're like, I don't even remember writing that.
Yeah.
That is the best part of writing, for sure. Like,
does that happen often?
What's that?
Does that happen often for you?
Sometimes.
Oh, that's
it's not that often, but it's not like super rare. So, like, I was telling you guys about a sketch that I wrote that Brendan would be great in. It just flowed out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it was like an out of body experience. But I can't believe I just put all that on paper. And like, I read it with my wife, and I was like laughing out loud at my writing. I was like, I can't believe I wrote a line that far.
Aww.
It surprised me. It was just like,
you feel so accomplished.
There's nothing better. But then, like, the worst part of writing is when you have like a half idea that you know you like, but as a film teacher of mine, that you can't quite bridge the gap. So I have a Twitter drafts document that's 150 pages of sketches, screenplay ideas, fragments of dialogue, ideas that don't really go anywhere, just like unfinished stuff. And it just bugs me that I can't quite connect the dots and bridge what's in my head to communicate it to others.
Yeah.
Someone once, I forget what I heard. someone said that writing is like long form telepathy. Like I come up with an idea, and then maybe years later and you're in my brain, but it's like a very polished, rehearsed version of my thought. Or sometimes it's a flow state and it just comes out perfectly. But definitely the struggle of conveying an idea that you really want to make happen is probably my least favorite part of writing. Neutral part of writing is when that idea comes up and you're like, okay, that's something, and I'm happy to document it and let it exist on a piece of paper rather than desperately trying to remember it.
Wow, yes, good answer.
Yes. Well, speaking of remembering, are there any other baby items you'd like to remember and add to your list before we wrap up this episode of Sessions with Mary Jane?
Yeah, so babies are not allowed to have pillows or blankets for fear.
Oh, so yes, fixation, yeah.
Back, which is very weird, but it's really funny that my daughter always, she sneaks her arms out of the back every night, and in doing so, she makes these very cute sounds, and you can tell she's doing it when she goes, So my wife and I just make those little grunting sounds all the time now. She never is doing it. Here's her bassinet that she sleeps in, right there, right next to our bed. There's her little sleep sack.
Oh, that's
we have birth cloths for her.
Oh, this is easy. He has it all around him. He's going to list it off.
She does not like pacifiers at all.
Pacifiers? Wait, she doesn't? I feel like that's against the
turtle that makes noise.
Turtle.
Is that for sleeping?
No, it's not tied to the pooping. It plays music. But she's not quite mature yet.
It looks like a turtle speaker.
It kind of is. Actually, if you guys want, I can demonstrate it. Basically, this turtle does like a light show.
It's a lovely blue.
Yeah. So it like plays music.
Wow, look at all these high-tech gadgets.
I know.
It's just for the parents,
it's
right?
True.
It's got to be for the parents.
It's true.
There we go.
Looking and buying it.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Oh, it glows?
Oh, it projects stars on the ceiling? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, we're in great hands. Babies are getting the best technology there is.
I know.
Oh, that's so lovely. I have a space LED light. It's not like that, but that's cool.
We are
not
babies.
a turtle. That's cooler.
And here you can hear the music it plays.
Oh, it's also Bluetooth. Maybe I just have a bunch of baby toys. Everything I have seems very similar.
We are just babies growing up a little bit.
Do you guys want to meet the baby real quick to close the pod?
Oh
my gosh,
yes.
Last baby item is baby. Completes the list.
Wait, let me check. Okay. To finish the pod, they would like to meet Louisa. It looks like my wife is feeding the baby, so now.
Well, sorry. No, yeah, we don't want to crash it if it's breastfeeding time.
Yeah, it is breastfeeding time.
Yeah, well, no tits on the podcast. That's our rule. Unless they're mine.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Matt, for coming on this show. We really had a great time.